Okay. We good to go, Artie?
Yes.
And you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, members of the HCCC family. Thank you so much for joining today's virtual town hall meeting. I'd like to begin by asking you to join me in a moment of silence for all the victims of the coronavirus pandemic, their loved ones, and those on the front lines of helping others and saving lives. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. I hope you're all well and staying safe, and I want to tell you I miss all of you so much. For those of you who attended Tuesday's Board of Trustees meeting or other meetings recently, some of what I'm going to share today will not be new to you, but I always want to use this occasion to provide important information for all members of our college community. So I apologize if some of what I say is repetitive for some of you. First, I want to say that I think together we can take great pride in how we're navigating the challenges of the pandemic with a focus on supporting our students, employees, and community, and really helping one another. I thank each and every one of you for your steadfast support of our students, your commitment to the welfare of our employees and our college, and the care and appreciation you're extending to one another at this difficult time. We continue to make good progress in supporting students with critically needed funding through our $4.2 million federal stimulus allocation for students, and also additional funding we continue to raise to support students through Hudson Helps. I thank Vice President Lisa Doherty and Associate Dean Sylvia Mendoza for their stellar leadership in developing guidelines for the distribution of funding directly to students and the efficient release of these funds to students in need. I'm just in awe to share with you that as of this morning, nearly $2 million in CARES Act and Hudson Helps funding has been allocated to 2,635 students. Funding will continue to be distributed to students over the better part of the next year or until all available funding has been allocated. So thanks so much, Lisa, Sylvia, and other members of your team for this exceedingly important work in support of our students. And I just want to emphasize it's a huge volume of work. These students have to be assessed for Pell eligibility. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's happening truly because of a team of truly dedicated people, and our students are enormously grateful for the support. I do also want to say that while CARES Act funding is helping the majority of our students who are eligible for federal Pell funding, it isn't available to over 2,000 of our HCCC students, including DACA students, undocumented students, international students, early college students, online students, and those pursuing non-credit programming through our Center for Workforce Development. I want to emphasize that these students who have been left out of CARES Act funding are very important members of our HCCC family, and our support for them is steadfast and unwavering. So we continue to raise funding, non-federal funding, to support these students. Last week we began a month-long Hudson Helps fundraising appeal to friends of the college that includes a match of foundation funds for gifts of up to $100,000 in support of Hudson County Community College students. I thank Vice President Nicholas Chevroletti, Myrta Sanchez, and our foundation directors for their leadership and generosity. As you all know, our summer session courses will continue to be offered remotely. As we contemplate an eventual return to on-the-ground campus operations, possibly in the fall, the safety of our community is paramount in all of our planning. I want to emphasize that we will follow the advice and direction of healthcare and government leaders with respect to when and how we begin an eventual return to campus. Recently, I announced the appointment of a return to campus task force to meet regularly and coordinate with statewide, regional, and local health and government agencies in order to plan for various return scenarios. The task force will also help keep our students and employees informed about issues associated with our returning to campus. So let me again stress that we'll follow the advice, guidance, and directives of the healthcare community and government agencies in determining when and under what circumstances it is safe to begin a return to on-the-ground instruction and operations. Meanwhile, the focus of the task force is to plan for various scenarios for offering instruction and services and managing our eventual return whenever it's determined that it's safe to begin a return. And I'm very much anticipating that when we begin a return, it will happen slowly. It's not going to be like flipping a switch. We will gradually return to some new normal, but we need to be prepared for all the possibilities that we can anticipate. These scenarios include new and multiple models of instruction, which Dr. Friedman, Dr. Jones, our deans and faculty have been discussing and very much are engaged in. Also, efforts to address safety concerns in campus facilities and operations, and the possibility of continued remote services where appropriate, perhaps integrated within some on-the-ground operations, and other. There are a whole bunch of scenarios. The possibility of classes being offered half on the ground, half online, and students shifting from online to on the ground in order to permit for social distancing, the possibility of a late start or shorter term classes that begin later in the fall, the possibility of perhaps lab courses using social distancing happening on the ground with lecture courses typically happening either remotely or online. We're looking at all of the scenarios and trying to do what we can to be ready. And I might note, we're kind of following the lead of Rutgers. Rutgers is taking this approach, and President Barchi just actually sent a missive yesterday, I believe, to the Rutgers community, essentially echoing exactly what we're doing, looking at the various scenarios. We also found Rutgers guidance to be extremely helpful in shaping how we developed guidelines for distribution of CARES Act funding to students. Vice President Lisa Doherty, again, Lisa's everywhere. I can't thank her enough, and also Assistant Dean Heather DeVries are co-chairing the Return to Campus Task Force, which held its organizational meeting on Monday. This task force is comprised of some 30 members and is broadly representative of our college community. Members include healthcare professionals in our School of Nursing and Health Sciences, representatives of our unions, our all-college council, other campus constituencies, and students. And Heather and Lisa, I can't thank you enough for your leadership of this Return to Campus Task Force. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the members of our Coronavirus Task Force, chaired by Dr. Darrell Jones and Kathleen Smith-Wenning. These dedicated faculty, staff, and students have been meeting weekly or more for months to help us navigate the challenges of the pandemic and to keep us all informed. So Darrell, Kathleen, and all involved, thanks so much from the bottom of our hearts for the many hours of hard work and planning you've invested, selflessly, I might add, in supporting our HCCC family. We've been working assiduously on our proposed budget for fiscal year 2021, which will be presented to the Board of Trustees for their action at the June meeting of the trustees. That's the next meeting. We'll also hold our annual budget meeting with the Hudson County Board of School Estimate on May 26th. This will determine our FY21 allocation from the County of Hudson. We've requested a 4.9% increase in our operating appropriation from the county, which would amount to some $800,000. This year's budget planning, now I'm going to get on a bit of a series of challenges. Bear with me. There's also great news at the conclusion, but I want you to know what I know, and I want to be completely transparent. Our budget planning is especially difficult as we navigate the many challenges of the pandemic and continued unknowns. We are navigating in an environment of unknowns everywhere, but without the luxury of being able to wait until all the unknowns become knowns. We've been working closely with the Cabinet, our board, and others to plan for next year's budget. Our budget planning is also informed by regular meetings and conversations with our healthcare community, the New Jersey Council of County Colleges, the New Jersey Office of the Secretary of Higher Education, our state and federal legislators, and others. I've also discussed this planning in some detail with the leadership of our 4 unions and the All-College Council. And today I want to share with all of you the challenges we're navigating, and our guiding principles in preparing our budget for next year. First, we're seeing a significant enrollment decline for the fall that is specifically related to the pandemic. While we're seeing remarkable stability in the continued enrollment of our current students this spring, summer one, and going forward, and this is really a tribute to the hard work of everyone to keep our students and their academic progress front and center. So that's the good news, but we're seeing very, very steep declines in new student enrollment in the fall. This is a national phenomenon. It's also throughout New Jersey. Students are unsure whether they want to attend college in the fall, where they want to consider attending, and many have concerns in both directions about whether instruction will be offered online, on the ground, or in some combination of these in the fall. Further, and very importantly, testing of prospective students has been very challenging in spite of our offering varying testing and placement scenarios, including some self-directed placement. This testing and placement challenge has had a profound impact on the declining enrollment of new students. Currently, as of this morning, our fall FTE enrollment is down 27% over last fall at this time. Further, we've held tuition level for next year to support our students who are experiencing extreme financial hardships. This is the right thing to do, and we want to do the right thing in all of this. But I will also share that holding tuition level also affects tuition revenue. And unfortunately, tuition revenue accounts for over 60% of our annual operating revenue. So even a 20% enrollment decline in the coming year, which is less than what we're seeing right now, represents a loss of $7.5 million in annual tuition revenue, which alone represents nearly 13% of our annual budget. We're also seeing a significant reduction in state appropriation due to the state's dire economic situation. In fact, the state has frozen over $1 million of our currently allocated and budgeted appropriation for this year, for the current year. This represents 50% of our fourth quarter 2020 budget appropriation from the state. This is unrealized funding that is already built into our current budget. Further, the state's 2020 fiscal year has now been extended through September. We're not sure what, if any, supplemental appropriation we will receive from the state between now and September 30th. And in addition, of course, we're uncertain what the state's FY21 appropriation will be to us, but we must anticipate and plan for a significant reduction in state funding of 25% or more. This is the best estimate based on input from lots of people, including the Secretary of Higher Education, although no one really knows where the numbers are going to come in. That 25% anticipated reduction in state aid would account for an additional revenue loss to Hudson County Community College of approximately $2 million or more. We've also lost revenue from canceled conference center rentals, and we've incurred increased expenses for things like laptops for loan to students, deep cleaning before we began remote instruction and remote delivery of services, and significant expenses that we will incur next year. We already are incurring for the continued expansion, the continued necessary expansion of the Center for Online Learning, as well as significant costs associated with social distancing and increased costs for campus cleaning and disinfection, among others. While we're receiving some federal stimulus funding to help us with our operating expenses related to the pandemic, it's far short of what's needed to close a significant gap between projected expenses and projected revenue for next year. Okay, so some significant challenges. We're not alone in this. These are challenges everybody's dealing with. But today I want to share with you the budget planning principles that we've established in consultation with our Board of Trustees for addressing this significant financial challenge. These principles represent guidelines and goals in our work to address our projected budget gap, and they include the following. First, reduce administrative and operating expenses in all areas of the college to the fullest extent possible, including a hiring freeze, travel freeze, and non-essential spending freeze. Until we reach some new level of stability, we're not filling vacancies or new positions or approving travel unless there are extenuating circumstances. Exceptions to these freezes must be approved at the cabinet level. Second, and exceedingly important, keep employees whole to the fullest extent possible. Because 70% of our budget is allocated to employee salaries and benefits, I have to share with you, because I want to be honest, open, and transparent, I'm not sure it's going to be possible to keep all employees whole, but I want you to know we're doing everything in our power to protect our workforce and minimize pain to employees, students, and the institution. And third, consistent with what I just said, we want to honor all contract provisions with internal unions and external service providers. Together, we made a lot of progress in our last union negotiations. We don't want to move backward. Fourth, we must ensure that financial measures taken do not have a negative impact on enrollment. It helps none of us to cut costs that result in larger losses of revenue. And it's very hard to make sure we're not having that unintended consequence. Fifth, we're applying an Institutional CARES Act funding where appropriate to areas of pandemic-related expenditure increases and revenue shortfalls. And sixth, as I've already mentioned, we're advocating an increase in FY21 county appropriation to HCCC. We will remain fully transparent as we navigate these challenges with a focus on the continued academic progress and success of our students and the welfare of our employees and community. Tomorrow, I will send a written update to our college community that includes the key points of the information I'm sharing with you today. In spite of the challenges of the pandemic, we continue to observe and celebrate milestone accomplishments of our students. We celebrate the recent selection of Abdullah Armar for a prestigious Jack Kent Cook Foundation scholarship, marking the second consecutive year that an HCCC student has been named a Cook Undergraduate Transfer Scholar. Abdullah's one of just 50 students nationwide to be chosen for this highly competitive national scholarship that provides recipients up to $40,000 per year for up to 3 years to complete their bachelor's degrees, and an additional opportunity for up to $75,000 for scholarship assistance to pursue graduate studies. And in addition, as you're likely aware, Abderrahim Salih was recently named a Goldwater Scholar, which is normally given to high-achieving four-year college students pursuing STEM careers. It's only the second time in New Jersey history that a community college student has been awarded a Goldwater Scholarship. Having both a Jack Kent Cook Scholar and a Goldwater Scholar in the same year is nationally distinctive and an immense point of pride for Hudson County Community College. And moreover, we just learned that Rahim has also been awarded a Phi Theta Kappa Least White Scholarship. I learned this just yesterday. He's one of just 15 recipients of the scholarship from more than 3,400 applicants nationwide. About a week ago, we celebrated the induction of 134 new members of our Beta Alpha Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society, and we also celebrated the chapter's 25th anniversary. The virtual induction ceremony was inspirational, as is the work of our 5-star PTK chapter. We thank all of the students and officers of PTK for their phenomenal service to others, which I might add has already resumed at Liberty State Park. We also congratulate these students for their academic accomplishments, and we salute Chapter Advisor Ted Lai, who so caringly and skillfully mentors these exceptional students. And I am absolutely thrilled to share that the HCCC nursing class of 2020 took their final exam on Monday. This is the final. And Carol Fasano has shared that all 92 students passed the course. These 92 new nurses will be entering the workforce at a time when they are so vitally needed, and at least 10 of them are applying for a new emergency graduate license that will permit them to work and serve others on the front line even before passing the NCLEX. And most important, we celebrate the pending graduation of over 1,300 HCCC students. Although we're unable to hold our previously planned commencement ceremony at Red Bull Arena, we're celebrating our graduates in creative virtual events I thank Assistant Dean Veronica Gerasimo, the staff of the Office of Student Life and Leadership, Warren Rigby and our Student Government Association, our phenomenal peer leaders, and others for their great work in planning these virtual celebrations. And in addition, we're continuing to plan a December 10th commencement at NJPAC in Newark to celebrate all of our 2019-20 graduates, in addition to our 450 December 2020 graduates. Hopefully we will be fine to have that ceremony in December. Finally, I'd like to share one of the many acts of kindness that members of our HCCC community are undertaking to support others during the pandemic. I also shared this with our trustees on Tuesday. Faculty and staff in our Culinary Arts Institute have raised funding to produce 300 packaged hot lunches to benefit and support the nonprofit organization Let's Celebrate, which handles food for the Hudson County Department of Health and Human Services and feeds frontline workers and other community members. The lunches are being prepared in our Culinary Conference Center using social distancing. I thank Chefs Gary Bensky and Anushi Puck and Business and Culinary Arts recruiter Janine Nunez and others for their inspirational leadership. I'm going to stop there. That's probably more than you wanted to hear, but those last pieces are particularly important because those are the manifestations of the work we do together as a family. Those are the reason those student accomplishments are the reason all of us are involved in college life. What I'd like to do now is entertain questions, comments, suggestions, celebratory remarks. We want to hear from you. Please press 10 and you'll be able to speak in the order of your entry. And I'll turn it over to Hardik if he has any instructions.
All right.
This conference is now in question and answer mode. To alert the speaker that you have a question, press 1, then 0.
And we've learned we have to give this a little bit of time. It takes a little time for each person to get on. Hardik, how many are on the line now?
Hello, Dr. Weber. It's Veronica.
Hey, Veronica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good.
So, yes, thank you so much for the shout-out. The team is working really hard to make sure our graduating students are still being celebrated, even though the situation is not what we all envisioned. So we are working next week to send out our graduation celebration boxes. We are just awaiting a couple more deliveries to pack that box. And we have a couple things also brewing, just locking in a couple details. But we want to make sure that graduating students are checking their emails. We're sending emails from our graduation events at hccc.edu email address. We are also putting out there the call for our upcoming alumni representatives on the Board of Trustees. So any students that are graduating this year have the ability to put their name in the hat for that, and we'll be holding those elections later this month as well. And we're continuing to celebrate students. We have spotlights going on. We're sharing their stories all around, and we're really proud and excited, and we want to make sure that it's as special as possible. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So in case you are a graduating student on the line or any student asks you, you have an answer for them.
Fantastic, Veronica. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You really
teamwork. We got a great team. A lot of care.
Yeah. Hardik, how many do we have on the line? He may not be able to answer me. So, like others.
Hi, Dr. Rebate. I have a quick question. I know a lot of people are contracted.
Tell us who you are.
Oh, I'm Sean. Hi. How nice to speak to you. I work for the Department of Cultural Affairs. I was just curious. I know a lot of part-time workers are contracted until July. I was just wondering if cuts were made, were our contracts still like being upheld until July and then being reevaluated after that fact?
Yes, I don't anticipate. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And then after they are reevaluated, will we know how the distribution of funds and hire backs will work?
Yes, thanks, Sean. Very important. We don't anticipate changes before July 1st. And we also, if there are going to be changes in anyone's employment, we will provide notice prior to July 1st. At least a month of notice, and in fact, if it happens, we don't want it to. If it does, we'll start with a personal. We'll reach out personally as a first step in talking with each affected employee, and so there will be notice given if that happens. Again, we're trying to ensure that we keep employees whole to the fullest extent possible.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Rubik.
Thank you, bet. Others. Hello?
Hi, Chris. It's Michael Felice.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Good. So others in the audience there know I'm speaking on behalf of the Professional Association. I just want to say I think the college community in general is very grateful having you as our president at this very challenging time. Particularly, I think, the principled leadership that you've been offering here instills a lot of a much-needed confidence. So I want to just personally thank you for that.
Thank you, Michael.
The college has been very responsive to the Professional Association. I don't even think a couple of minutes passes by when I send you or other members of the administration an email, and they get back to me immediately, set up a meeting, and that also instills an awful lot of confidence. I guess figuring out these new normals are going to help enormously, and it's not going to be easy, but I think given the fact that we have established some really good working relationships since you've been here, figuring out these new kinds of issues that don't neatly fit into the contract or how this kind of works out now, I think is our next step, and the more of that we can, get under wraps, I think all the better. I also want to thank my colleagues who are on the front lines here. We have some bittersweet stories, some incredible stories, some very sad stories, but for those faculty, dealing with students with these unparalleled challenges and hardships, I just want to commend them for the, limitless work that they've been doing. Maybe last thing, I was really happy to hear you mention about DOC and international students. So mistreated, I think, these days. I don't know exactly what. We're going to have a union meeting next week, but I think the union would like to play a part in some of that. I'm just knocking through some ideas in my own head that I'll bring to my colleagues, but I think that's something the union would really like to get behind. So anyway, I thank you for all that, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Michael, so much, and I couldn't agree more with you. Thanks to truly everyone. We are getting through this together, and it's been a pleasure working with you. We actually, some of us had a meeting with the PA officers just a day or two ago. It was quite long and it covered lots of issues, but, we worked together through all of them. And that has made all the difference, I think, in this current crisis. Others?
Hello, this is Mirta from the foundation. How's everybody?
Hi, Mirta.
Hi. My comments is the following. We are going through very hard times. We all know that this pandemic has stolen so much from so many of those whose lives were already impacted. And we need your help more than ever. So if you check your emails, you'll see that starting May 5th, the college and the foundation started a fundraising campaign that's going to be live for a month. Please click on the letter, donate, and the college will match your donation dollar for dollar up to $100,000. Also, today, May 14th, the Chamber of Commerce is running Hudson Gifts, which is a 24-hour fundraising campaign for Hudson County business only. So if you can log into any of those platforms, our college and the Hudson Gifts, we really appreciate. And remember that no donation is too small. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Myrta. And if anybody wants to give more than $100,000, we probably would find a way to match more than that.
Hi, Chris. This is Kathy. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. I do not have $100,000, so I'm sick. Okay, this is a message for the college community. I circulated to some of the members of the task force yesterday information about contact tracing. The task force, the coronavirus task force, will put together, with the help of Jennifer Christopher, who I haven't contacted her yet, but I just remembered, just more information about this. Sirhan Abdullah told me this morning that he had heard that more than 27,000 people had put in an application to either volunteer as a contact tracer, part-time or full-time, or as a paid contact tracer. So there is free education offered by the state. There is an application. Anyone can fill this out, and we're working with the community education on some extra education to help people prepare for this opportunity. I have a feeling if you can volunteer, that would be great. I don't know how many paid positions there will be. Just to give you an idea of how many people are out there seeking these positions, I had applied for a position a month ago with Partners in Health in Boston. But really that was just to get more information about contact tracing. And I got a email back from them, and there were 1,000 positions, and they said, your application is active, but there's 37,000 applicants.
Wow.
I just wanted to see if I could get an interview so I could help us create some education for contact tracers. So yes, the field is huge, but don't let that stop you. You never know if you're going to be the person who gets the call. So look for that, and it'll be on the portal shortly. That's it.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Others.
Hi, Dr. Reber. It's Michelle Vitale.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, and I just wanted to
say, can I just say, I'm so blown away by all the stuff you're doing virtually. It's just fantastic. Yeah.
I'll say that with a big Jersey accent. Aww. I just wanted to point out to everybody, it's very inspiring, and I think everybody would really enjoy it. We loaded all the students' work from Lori and Jeremiah's department onto a Flickr account and made a virtual gallery. And right now it's had over almost 800 views. And wow. It's about 117 works from our students who worked and made art during this time. It's really inspirational. I think everybody would really love it. And if you go on our website page, under Deneen Hall Gallery, under Exhibitions Online, you'll see it says HCCC Student Exhibition. There's also 2 other exhibits. One is Jersey City Arts High School, which they've been sending us countless thank yous because they didn't have an exhibit to close out their year, and the families are all very excited. And we also have the Deneen Hall Gallery Turns 5 exhibit. So just something to perk people's spirits up during this, this time.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We don't have any more questions, Dr. Reber.
Okay. How many do we have on the line?
We have hold on. We got a question. We have 188 people.
Oh, fantastic. So we have
Hi, Dr. Reber.
Good. I was going to say there has to be another question or two. How are you, Warren?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, I just kind of want to resonate with some of the things that have already been said, but your leadership and commitment to our students is unparalleled and really is what is gotten us through this pandemic the way that we've gotten through it. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for that. And as a representative for our students, it's important for us to try and to find fun and interactive ways to connect with our students, even when we're not right there face front with them. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do and all of your leadership. It really has been instrumental, and it's been a pleasure to work with you over the last few semesters.
Well, and I right back at you. You have been phenomenal. I don't know. I know many of you realize this, but Warren is he's everywhere. I mean, he goes to trustee meetings. He's on the coronavirus task force. I mean, you have been such a vibrant, effective representative and voice of the students. You truly are an inspiration. I appreciate your kind remarks.
Thank you.
Others. We have 188 folks out there. I know there's another question or comment.
Hi, Dr. Weber. This is Professor Imam from STEM Division.
Yeah.
I do appreciate your leadership. Actually, it has been very, for lack of any other word, warming and encouraging. 2 points I want to make. Point number one, I think some of the financial institutions actually give donation to the educational purpose. Goldman Sachs is one example. They do interact, but in Jersey City itself, there are so many other institutions which I think
we are very much reaching out to other organizations that offer philanthropic support. That's very much a work in progress right now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, and appreciate it. That should be it. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you. Others.
Hey, Dr. Reber, David Clark here. How are you?
Hey, David. How are you doing?
I want to also echo the comments. I remember distinctly your interview when you came to the college and you spoke about servant leadership. And it's been very inspirational to watch you not only live by that, but to show it in your actions. So I really, really just want to give you that and let you know we really appreciate your leadership here at the college. It's very, like everyone said, warm and inspirational and affirming. Oftentimes staff may or may not feel that they are getting all of the information up front. And regardless of how it is, good, bad, or indifferent, I appreciate that you put it out there for everyone to, take in as you're taking it in as well and dealing with the behind the scenes of it that a lot of people don't know about. So kudos to you and the team that you have working with you that are working tirelessly to make sure, we stay as safe and secure as possible. So, but I want to come in and just make 2 quick announcements.
Sure.
The food pantries are still operational. We are at 3 days a week on both the North Hudson campus and the Journal Square campus, moving to summer hours starting June 1st, Mondays and Wednesdays at Journal Square. The pantry will be open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday at the North Hudson campus, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also starting Monday, May 18th, any student who is graduating and or not returning for summer 1 or summer 2 and they borrowed a Chromebook or a laptop, they can start to return those devices to the location that they checked them out so that we can redistribute those machines to students who are enrolled in summer 1 and summer 2.
Outstanding.
All right. That's all I have.
David, thank you for all you're doing. Those food pantries are so important. And thank you to everyone that has volunteered to help staff them.
Absolutely. Our frontline teams are like superheroes. I appreciate them. If they're on the line, we really, really appreciate them being out there on the front lines for us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Others?
Hi, Mr. River. This is Alexander Williams.
Hi.
I just got a question. For the fall semester, do you have a plan so students can go back to the premises, or there's going to be only online classes?
You know, we don't know at this point. We would love to make that decision, but we really we are following the lead of our healthcare community, the experts, and also, you know, our government agencies. When they say that it is safe to begin to return and also provide guidance for how to return, that's when we will start our process. So right now, until we're at a point where we can make a decision, we are planning for a variety of scenarios. I can tell you no matter what, we will be open and offering a full schedule of classes, just like always, and we will be supporting our students in every way possible. None of that will change. What we aren't sure of yet is to what extent we'll be offering fully on-the-ground classes, fully online classes, combinations of the two, late start classes. But we're looking at all those possibilities, and as soon as we can make any decisions, you can rest assured we will let you know. But you can go ahead and register now and know that we are going to deliver instruction in every way possible to meet students' needs depending upon the indications of safety to return. Now, having said that, I have to tell you I'm noting that many colleges and universities across the country, 2-year and 4-year, have already made their decision, or at least have indicated what they expect. I think it's premature to do that, and as I said earlier, we're kind of following Rutgers' lead. But of those that have announced their plans, and I'm not sure that this will materialize, but I just took this out of it. Every day, the Chronicle of Higher Education provides an updated number of schools planning for each scenario. At this point, across the country, 65% of responding institutions are planning for in-person. 12% are waiting to decide. We're in that category. 9% are considering a range of scenarios. We're also in that category. And 8% are planning for fully online through the fall. And 6% are proposing a hybrid approach. I think there might be some overlap in those categories. But 2/3 of schools are planning on the ground at this point. We just don't feel ready to do that. And safety is going to be number one for us. But I'm guessing, no matter what, I'm guessing we're going to, if I had to guess, I would say we're going to have a whole variety of, it's not going to look like it has, last fall. We'll have a whole variety of courses. We may have some that meet partially on the ground and partially in the cloud. We'll probably have more online classes no matter what. We may have some other variations like late start, shorter term, some remote, etc. I have a feeling it'll be a mixture of all that, but honestly, we're not prejudging that. And I know we would all like to know, but this is in part, well, this is really the work that our Return to Campus Task Force has been charged with. We're working on all the scenarios so that as soon as we know or have more information, we will be ready to implement whatever seems to be the best mix or the best way of approaching fall. And I welcome input, comments. Yeah, you bet. Others.
Good afternoon, Dr. Reber. Good afternoon, everybody. This is another Chris on campus, Chris Wall from Academic Affairs.
Who's just up the street from me.
Yeah, I'm waving to you.
We live near each other.
wanted to thank all of the faculty members who have participated in some of our question and answer sessions for end of semester grading, and also invite those who are interested to participate either today at 1:30 after the town hall meeting, or Tuesday at 1 o'clock. If you have any questions about the procedure for submitting grades this semester, what some of the different grades will mean, and advising students, I invite you to join those sessions. You should have some invitations from Lalisa Williams and the Office of Faculty and Staff Development.
Excellent. Thank you. Others?
Hi, Dr. Reba. This is Nancy Hines-Lossack, Chairperson of the Adjunct Union Federation.
Of course. Hi, Nancy.
Hi. I have a question about the online training courses. If we have already been trained by a staff member, I was told I was considered an online teacher at that time, and it says it's grandfathered. Is that true in terms of that? So we're not required to take those classes that are currently being offered? It says that people who have already taught the online classes or have had training are not required to take those.
Can anyone on the cabinet help me with this that I think are on the line here? Eric or Daryl or anyone else? I'm not sure of the answer, Nancy. Is there anyone out there that, like, is Tricia there or Archana who can come in and answer this? I'm going to give this a minute, Nancy.
Okay, because I myself was told by Catherine Sweeting, who was a trainer, that I was now considered online teaching. So I did training sessions with her, some in a group, some one-to-one. So when I read on the portal that they were having some new courses, and it did say that people who already had training with a trainer were already grandfathered. So I just wondered if there's a list or some kind of a formal...
Eric just texted me. He's not able to speak, but I think he can help answer it. Go ahead. Oh, I thought I heard somebody. So, Eric, I don't know if you entered the code that allowed you to speak here. What we'll do, Nancy, I'm guessing Catherine Sweeting is correct, but let us follow up on this, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
I don't want to, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for raising the question.
Okay.
Okay, Eric entered 1-0, but we can talk afterwards. The cabinet actually has an additional...
Looks like I'm unmuted now.
Now he's unmuted. Can you speak to it, Eric?
Hi. Yes. So it sounds like the question is, if I was previously certified to teach online, do I have to be recertified? I would think the answer is no. You don't have to be recertified if you had already gone through the online faculty training. So I will definitely contact you along with Archana to find out if there are any things that you would benefit from that have been posted up, new features of Canvas, new tools that we've added on since you had the training, but I would not think that you would need to be recertified, no. And while I'm on the line, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been working so hard to get through the end of the semester and to adopt to some of the new grading procedures and to communicate with students. I've been talking to faculty members almost every day about different adjustments and different ways that they have brought the semester to a close, and it's creative, it's innovative, it's inspirational. As much as I know it leads to more time and contact with students, it's just such an amazing story that we could write of how we have adapted in the midst of this pandemic. So thank you so much to not only those teaching, but those behind the scenes, everyone from financial aid to tutorial services to the Center for Online Learning and the libraries, advising. I mean, it absolutely takes a village, and we're all working together in ways that I don't think we could have predicted before. I heard someone say the other day about one of the offices that, wow, I'm getting so much greater response now that we're online. So there are some silver linings.
Yeah.
But I'm so inspired, and Chris, thank you so much for your leadership. You've just been amazing, and you're open, you're honest, you share what you know and what you don't know, and we all appreciate it so much. Thank you.
And Eric, I truly want to say the same for you. You have been such a central part of this institution's progress, and it's a pleasure working with all of you. I appreciate all the kind remarks. You're causing me to do a little flashback. You know, I've been working in higher ed for over 40 years in different kinds of institutions, and I remember, you know, for over half of those years when I wasn't a president or a senior leader, always observing that, you know, the president tends to get all the thanks and the feedback, and the others who are really making it happen don't hear that very often. Now that I'm a president, I got to tell you, I value the opportunity to lead and support, but this is a result of the work of the college. So to the fullest extent possible, I want to shout out others who are making it happen. It's a pleasure to be able to talk about our successes and to be able to support people who are doing great work. But just rest assured, I know that because of the position I'm in, I get a lot more probably thanks than I deserve, and we're trying to make sure we shout out the thanks to others. But I do appreciate everybody's comments. So, any other comments, questions, concerns, celebrations? It sounded like someone was maybe going to say something.
Yeah, I did open the line, but I'm not sure.
Anybody else? Well, dear colleagues, let me say thank you again for joining us today and for all you do. We're truly getting through this together, and we'll be even stronger, I believe this, because of everyone's commitment, dedication, and caring down the road. So please stay safe and well, and please let us know how we can be helpful to you. Have a good afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.